During the 2010 midterm election, Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid faced one of the toughest re-election battles of his career. Now, his opponent, Sharron Angle, was a Tea Party favorite, and many hoped that she would strip Reid of his beloved Senate seat. Now, with the election behind her, she has penned a new book, Right Angle, One Woman's Journey to Reclaim the Constitution. You lost a tough election. That was, for me, one of the harder ones. I wanted him beaten so bad.
Everybody did. You know, I had a 7-year-old boy say to me, "I'm so sorry you lost." And I have lots of people coming up, and all I can say is I'm sorry too, but life isn't about winning or losing. It's about doing the right thing and doing your very best. And I think that's what we just have to continue to do as people who want to get back to the Constitution. We can't give up. We can't quit. We've got to keep in the game even if we lose one.
Let's talk about, did Harry Reid steal this election? Do you think he stole votes in this election?
Well, in my book, The Right Angle, I do discuss that a bit, and you may know this. We have a lawsuit at the Department of Justice
about
right now.
Acorn and the SEIU?
It's actually about Harrah's Casino and the SEIU and their involvement in what we feel was not legitimate. This
is when they sent out the what was it, an email from the head of Harrah's? Is that how? Remind everybody what happened.
Well, they sent out an email saying put those people in a chokehold. I think that was their word, chokehold. Yeah. But then they bust people into the polls, and I think that our lawsuit, I'm saying I think because I'm not an attorney, and I want to make that disclaimer right up front. I'm not the attorney.
No, every time I hire a lawyer, I just say, that's your job. I don't want to hear it. Just let me know when it's over.
Right, and so that's basically what I know is we have the lawsuit, and we're pursuing it.
You had a really terrific line, and I've never said it this succinctly, and I was actually jealous that I didn't think of it myself. You said Reagan was a Tea Partier. Yeah. Now, people forget that Ronald Reagan challenged a sitting president in a primary in 1976, and that was Gerald Ford. And in many ways, that's taking on the establishment, isn't it?
It is, and I think that when we talk about this, what we're doing is challenging a paradigm. What happens, and you've seen this happen, I think people watch it happen when they're looking at Washington, D.C. They see that people come in, they are challenging that paradigm, and then somehow they get sucked in or seduced by it, and pretty soon they're all establishment. And what we need is outsiders to come in with the Constitution on their minds and determined to make a difference with that Constitution on their mind.
But, you know, it's interesting because there are some people that are thinking, well, if the Republicans don't get a little harder, if they don't take a stronger stand, you know, they get, including myself, get frustrated. I didn't like the 2011 budget deal. I didn't like the lame duck from the 2010 election leading into Christmas. I didn't like what went on there. I want these guys to stand firm. And Reagan, interestingly, raised the question, you know, is it a third party we need? And then he answered his own question. He said, no, it's a revitalized second party. Now, recently, the Tea Party has gotten together and said, no, we are going to unite behind whoever the winner of this nomination is. I think if they don't do that, you'll split the anti-Obama vote. In goes Barack Obama again. Do you agree?
Well, certainly we have to be careful of that. We saw that with the Perot election where, you know, things happened and Perot split the vote and we got someone we didn't want. So we need to be very careful how we put our support.
But do you agree with Reagan's principle, a revitalized second party, not a third party?
I do. I do. You know, when we look at the principles of the Republican Party, they're right. It's the problem is it's who it runs. You know, I talk about this in Right Angle, which is available at SharonAngle.com and on Amazon. I talk about how they run right and vote left. So they say all the right things to us, and you may know that I've started a new PAC. It's Our Voice PAC. And the reason that we're working with that PAC this time is we think that people need to be informed voters. They need to look more at the record, not just at what people are saying. And we definitely think this is important because Harry Reid is now exporting what he did in Nevada to the whole nation.
I still can't believe he won.
And we need to stop that.
Yeah. Now, as you look back on a campaign, and I'm not asking you to really Monday morning quarterback, but are the things that you would do differently? You know, what did you learn in the course of this campaign? I know you recently turned down an opportunity to run for Congress. What would you do differently?
Well, I'll set the record straight on that. I turned down an opportunity, if you call it an opportunity, to be in a special election that's going to be a chaotic mess decided in a court, which is one of the things that we are very anxious to get rid of, is this judicial activism where the judges are making the laws rather than the legislature. So just to make the record straight there. But going back to your question, I do go into that a lot in my book as far as what we need to do going forward that we didn't do in the last election. And part of it has to do with money. That's why I'm putting the proceeds of this book into this PAC. So we'll have the money to fight the fight at the ground zero point.
At the grassroots level.
That's it. Well, not just at the grassroots. 24 hours after I won the primary, Harry Reid was up on the air with his PAC, talking about the things, the name calling, the personal attack, and we didn't have the money to come back and fight back. So that's what this PAC is about. We're going to have the money to go toe-to-toe when they start that.
Are you happy with the candidates that are have announced or will announce for president? Are you happy with the Congress and how they've governed so far?
I think we're all waiting. We're all waiting to see who's going to really get in this race before we say we're happy with someone. We need to.
Is there any one or two people that really stand out in your mind that you would like to support?
Well, certainly, there are some conservatives that have voiced
They
them.
have names. That's what
yes,
I'm trying to get out of you.
Well, surely, but and I guess the reason I'm avoiding that a little bit is because this PAC is a PAC that cannot endorse candidates. So I'm being very careful about that.
But you can speak as an individual versus the PAC. Individually, separate from the PAC, is there anybody that stands out in your mind?
Not yet. I'm really waiting, just like everyone else, to see.
Okay, that's where I am. I'm just asking. All right, are you happy with how the 2011 Congress is acting? You know, since they've won in 2010, that's not a smile. That was.
You know, I'm a little
facial expression. No.
Well, it's not no. It's
just
that. It's just that, you know, I love what Paul Ryan is trying to do, where he says we need some reforms here. We do need some reform. Let's do that reform. And yet I see some of our Republicans are kind of waffling on what reform looks like, and I don't want them to waffle. I want them to be strong.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, Right Angle is the name of the book, and your new PAC. They can find out all about that. And good to see you. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me, Sean.
And coming up, he describes himself as a former liberal who woke up. Legendary playwright and director David Mamet tells us what caused his political transformation. Plus, when he's not playing football, Cincinnati Bengals safety Roy Williams, well, he's dedicating his time to helping our troops. And now he may be thinking of running for public office. That much more straight ahead on Hannity.